Hi. My name is Thomas. And to be honest, I've had my reservations about making this video. Because I'm just a normal guy. But I have done something that some may see as unethical. I have taken techniques used by therapists around the world to cure people's phobias, added a little twist to these simple techniques, and used them to seduce women. Lots and lots of women. And because I am not good looking, famous, or muscly, some people would say I am tricking women into sleeping with me. And I suppose in a way, I am. I mean, when you see what I look like, and you see what the girls I sleep with look like, you'll wonder how on earth I do it. It's okay though, they will never know what I do, because it goes completely under the radar. Women find themselves attracted to me and don't know why. They tell me I'm not their usual type. So why do they find themselves bent over and naked in a hotel room within a few hours of seeing me for the first time? Why do they find themselves pleasuring me with their mouth, when usually they don't like sucking anyone, let alone a stranger they met that day? It's because I can turn any woman on by exploiting a loophole in the human brain which makes her connect me with the strongest orgasms she's ever had. Legal? Yes. Ethical? Probably not. But if you are a geeky looking guy like I am, you have to cheat a little if you want to sleep with models. Listen, rich guys use money to attract women all the time. Is that unethical? Not really. Just part of the game. In my eyes, rewiring a woman's brain so she associates me with pleasure is just like having lots of money. But it's free. This is all about leveling the playing field so that guys who are short, fat, old, or ugly can still seduce and date beautiful women on demand. The girl will pick you over the rich, handsome guys she usually goes for. And what's even better about this system is when you use these tactics on women, you make her feel great. She just does not know why. So whilst it's a bit sneaky, the end result is both you and her feel amazing. After first stumbling upon this secretive mind technology, I have spent the past 3 years adapting and developing it. Now, I have got it down to a fine art. Within seconds of starting a conversation with a woman I've never met, I have bypassed her brain security and she feels pleasurable feelings toward me. Within minutes, she feels attracted to me. And within a couple of hours, she associates my face with her strongest desires and the rest is too dirty to put here. Take your deepest, dirtiest fantasies. I've done it. You can do it, too. Now, I know this all sounds like science fiction. But as you will see in this free presentation, it is science fact. I will tell you about famous experiments that prove, without any shadow of a doubt, that this is possible. You can shape women to do what you want by getting them to associate your face with them feeling good. The more you do this, the more attractive you'll become to them. Then, you start chaining these associations together to orgasms in your face and boom! You never need miss an opportunity again. So, if you struggle to sleep with the beautiful women you want, then this free video is for you. I am going to teach you the exact technique I stole from therapists. It's embarrassingly simple when you know how. Unless you're a homosexual, you'll want to watch this to the end. Right about now you may be wondering why I would teach you this. It's simple, Really? For revenge. As you will see, I am out to get even. So be warned. This presentation is not staying up permanently. It can't because of the sensitive nature of what it contains. This video is going to piss off a lot of people who think I am doing something unethical. So, watch this today. Right now. It may be gone tomorrow. Before I tell you the technique, I want you to imagine something. If you could sleep with any woman on the planet, who would it be? It can be a celebrity, a porn star, a friend, the barmaid in your local bar or club. Doesn't matter. Now picture the following scene. You walk into a bar and that woman is there. If she's a celebrity, maybe she's working on a film or making a music video in your area. You stand next to her at the bar and can't believe how beautiful she is. Big breasts, nice ass, wet mouth. You want her. Like, now. You ask her one of the questions I'll give you later in this presentation. She looks at you, pauses, and then a big grin spreads across her face. She answers you and you start chatting. You make her feel different. She can't quite put her finger on it, but you make her feel really good inside. Yet you're not using any cheesy compliments or chat-up lines. She finds you intriguing. After an hour or so, she suggests you both move on to somewhere else. She is staying in a hotel round the corner. You could get a drink in the hotel bar. 15 minutes later, she pushes you back onto her hotel room bed. She does a lap dance for you, getting you rock hard. After a while, she undoes your belt and takes you in her wet mouth. Then you spend the entire night having sex in every position there is. When morning comes, you wake up and she's snuggled into your chest. You smile to yourself. She didn't stand a chance. Now, how do you feel? Like the thought of that? Good. Let's make that kind of thing a reality for you. Whilst I can't guarantee you will sleep with your favorite celebrity, I can guarantee you'll be seducing the most beautiful women in your town. Let's start your tuition by revealing the background behind the technique and how I stumbled across it. At school I was a shy, geeky-looking kid. So geeky, in fact, I was bullied every day. The guys would hit me, but their punches were nothing compared to the pain I felt when the girls in class would call me ugly and laugh at me. Every day I would do my best to avoid doing anything that gave them an excuse to laugh at me or humiliate me. But they did it anyway. When I left school, I thought that I would be able to start again. A new me. Unfortunately, things didn't go to plan. You see, I started a new office job and everything was going well for a year or so. I kept to myself, and whilst I didn't really have any good friends at work, it was nice to not be bullied every day. One day, things took a turn for the worse. I was asked to do a presentation in front of my colleagues. I was asked on a Friday and the presentation would be the following Thursday. As soon as I was asked, I started to feel really anxious about it. Then, as the day got nearer, I struggled to sleep. And on the morning of the presentation, I had a full-blown panic attack. I rang up work and said I was ill. I just couldn't face it. The problem was my boss really wanted me to do this presentation. So he rescheduled it for the next week. Again, I had sleepless nights. And then another panic attack. I told my boss, and whilst he was pissed off, he told me I didn't have to do the presentation. He also said I had to go and see a therapist or it may affect my job in the future. Now, to say that I was angry about that would be an understatement. Me going to see a therapist? No way. I'm not crazy. I'm not mentally unstable. I'm just low in self-confidence, that's all. I didn't want to go. But I knew I had to. Little did I know, those panic attacks which made me feel like even more of a loser were about to turn me into a guy who had the sex life of a rock star. So there I was at the first session with the therapist. He asked me how I felt about therapy. And I told him I thought it was bullshit. I'm just born this way. You can't change me. Anyone can be changed, he said. Your brain is what is causing your panic attacks. It is triggering thoughts and emotions connected to your past. But it can be fixed. You just have to know how. And that's what you're paying me for. A big smile spread across his face. I thought he was crazy. Over the next few minutes though, he got me excited. You will be excited to hear this, too. He told me about a famous experiment by a physiologist, Ivan Pavlov. Maybe you've heard of him. His experiment in the 1890s is known as Pavlov's dogs. Pavlov would ring a bell each time he put food in front of his dogs. Then he would measure their saliva levels to see if their mouths watered. The dogs' saliva levels would increase each time the food was put in front of them. Much like a human's mouth would if a big steak was put in front of us. He repeated this procedure several times. He put the food in front of the dog and rang a bell as he did so. Then he would measure the increase in saliva. Here's the interesting bit. After a while, Pavlov could just ring the bell and the dog's saliva would increase, even when there was no food in sight. The dogs had formed a connection in the brain between the ringing of the bell and getting food. The result of this association was their mouths watered. This reaction in the dog happened instantly and automatically. The dogs had no choice in the matter. The bell would ring and their mouths would water. They had been unconsciously programmed to associate the bell with food. This is known as classical conditioning. I had heard of this experiment before in class. But it meant nothing to me then and nothing to me now. What was he getting at? He continued. Psychologists weren't sure if humans could be conditioned in this way. So, in 1920, a man named John B. Watson carried out another famous experiment known as the Little Albert experiment. Little Albert was 9 months old. He was shown a white rat, a monkey, a rabbit and various masks in order to scare him. But he showed no emotional reaction. They did not affect him at all. He showed no fear. However, what did scare Albert was when a hammer was struck against a steel bar behind him. The sudden noise startled him and made him burst into tears. Once a week, for the next 7 weeks, the rat was put in front of Albert. And at the same time, the hammer was struck against the steel bar behind him. Can you guess what happened? By the end of the 7 weeks, every time Albert saw the rat he would cry. Even when the noisy hammer was not used. Whilst this experiment was not nice for the young boy, it did prove something. Human beings can be conditioned too, just like Pavlov's dogs. This is all interesting, I said. But what has this got to do with me? Everything, he answered. You were bullied at school. That meant that you felt embarrassed and humiliated in front of your classmates. Is that correct? I nodded. Did you feel embarrassed when you had to talk in front of class? Yes. In fact, one time I stood up in front of the class to speak and everyone started chanting ugly. They wouldn't shut up, so the teacher made me sit down. The therapist smiled reassuringly. With Pavlov's dogs, the ringing of the bell made their mouths water with pleasure because they had built up an unconscious connection between the bell ringing and food. With little Albert, the rat made him feel fear because he built up an unconscious connection between the rat and feeling scared. You have built up the unconscious connection between speaking up in front of others and the feeling of humiliation. He then said the few sentences that will be very important later in this presentation. So listen up. Human beings, very quickly, make unconscious connections between things. If they experience something that makes them feel good, they will want to experience more of it. If they experience something that makes them feel bad or scares them, they will avoid it. This is called the law of effect. When you were asked to do the presentation, your brain unconsciously searched in your memory banks for similar experiences in your past and found your painful memories at school within milliseconds. This triggered anxious feelings and eventually, your panic attacks. The therapist paused and looked at me, waiting for a reaction. I felt a flutter of excitement in my stomach. Things were starting to make sense. So, I wasn't born with low self-confidence and panic attacks? I asked. Absolutely not. Your brain just likes to protect you from getting into situations that are similar to ones in your past that made you feel bad. So, it causes you anxiety to try to make you avoid getting into similar situations. The problem is, the brain isn't always right. A bad experience in school does not mean every time you speak up in front of someone, you feel humiliated. In this case, the connection it has made is faulty. All we need to do is rewire those connections using cognitive behavioral therapy, and help you to develop self-confidence using neuro-linguistic programming, and you will be a brand new man. Brand new man. I liked the sound of that. Over the next few weeks, the therapist introduced me to some pretty cool tricks I had never known existed. Let me give you one that you can use to skyrocket your self-confidence. Women find confident men irresistible. Neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, is a mind technology used by therapists around the world. One NLP technique is called anchoring. This is how you can use Pavlov's dogs and little Albert for your own benefit. If you want to be able to develop a surge of self-confidence on demand, you can develop a confidence anchor by doing the following. Put on a piece of music that really gets you pumped up and excited. Something that makes you feel powerful and that you can achieve anything in life. As you listen to the music and feel positive emotions, squeeze your index finger and thumb together hard on both hands. Do this 5 or 6 times throughout the song. And repeat this process 5 times a day. After a few weeks, you will be able to squeeze your thumb and forefinger together and feel the same power and positive emotions you did when the music was playing. But you'll be able to do it without needing the music. Your brain will have developed a connection between squeezing your fingers together and feeling confident. And you can use it anytime you want a surge of self-confidence. Pretty cool, huh? They should teach this shit in school. That trick alone would help a lot of people in their day-to-day life. Anyway, back to how this can help you sleep with the most beautiful women in your town. Over the next few sessions, we set up a few more of these anchors and other tricks to boost self-confidence. I'll talk more about these a little later. We also used cognitive behavioral therapy to rewire the belief I had unconsciously created that public speaking equals humiliation. Soon, I had got rid of that belief and replaced it with a positive one. I eventually did the presentation and my boss said I was amazing. This whole process took just a few weeks. I now knew this mind stuff worked. But a little question had been rolling around in my head. I've always been a bit of a thinker. Science was my favorite class at school. And I had a theory I wanted to ask the therapist about. I know this may sound a little silly, but is it possible to get other people to connect you with the feelings of positive emotions and pleasure? In the same way Pavlov did with the dogs, the bell, and the food, or the NLP anchoring trick. I held my breath as I waited for the answer. If my theory was right, I'd be able to lose my virginity in no time. He took off his glasses and smiled at me before saying the words that set me on my journey. He said, "That is one of life's greatest secrets. A secret that is out in the public eye for all to see, but people are so caught up in themselves, they miss it. If you make others connect you with pleasure, you will never be short of friends. It's very possible when you know how." It was music to my ears. I wanted friends. I also wanted women. Lots and lots of women. I left his office that day with my heart pounding with excitement. I just knew I was on to something. Over the next few months, I spent night and day on the internet doing my research. You see, I had a theory. If I could get women to connect me with them feeling great, and even better, feeling pleasure, I'd be able to get women into bed, no problem. You may or may not know this, but you can access all kinds of reports, lectures and experiments online. Stuff 99% of the world doesn't know exists. Stuff therapists don't want the world to know exists. But they are there for other therapists and psychologists to read to further their own work. I was reading them to learn how to sleep with women who were way out of my league. Sneaky, hey? For example, online there is an audio lecture recorded at m.I.T, a private research university in the United States. In this lecture, a professor is speaking about the law of effect, just like my therapist had. If something feels good, you want more of it. He talks about how, when he was a student himself, he and a few classmates decided to test the law of effect on a lecturer who had come to his university to do a talk on psychology. Whilst the lecturer was speaking on stage, if he walked to the left, a section of the class would smile and start taking notes. Not all of them, because it would have been obvious. But a quarter or so of the class who were dotted around the room. So, as the lecturer was speaking, if he walked to the left of the stage, people would smile and take notes. If he stood in the center or walked to the right, no smiles were given or notes taken. Can you guess what happened? By the end of the class, the lecturer was mainly over on the left-hand side of the stage. Whereas at the beginning, he was mainly in the center and the right. After class, when he was told about the experiment, he laughed and said he was completely unaware of what had happened. His brain had unconsciously connected that when he walked to the left, his students did what he wanted. And this made him feel good. This was all completely outside of his awareness. He had been unconsciously programmed by the students in the class. How crazy is that? This lecture is free to access online and available to the general public. I'll tell you about where you can listen to it later. So remember, if people carry out an action that makes them feel good, they will continue doing it. And you can condition people to carry out these actions without them being aware of what is going on. I spent months and months researching this idea. I listened to lots of lectures and read about experiments and case studies until I really understood the concept. And then I decided to put it to the test. Here was my plan. I had never approached a woman before in my life. And I had definitely never approached a woman with the intention of getting her into bed. So, I decided to test the waters slowly rather than jumping in at the deep end. My goal, at first, was just to start a conversation with a female I'd never met. And not get rejected. I just wanted to have a woman smile within the first 10 seconds of meeting me. That was it. You may think I'm a loser for just wanting to get a smile from a woman, but remember at this time I was a virgin without any real friends. Give me a break. I wrote down 2 conversation starters that would make a woman feel good by triggering unconscious emotions in her. As I tell you them, see if you can figure out why they are so powerful. I picked up some travel brochures from my local travel agents and went to a coffee shop. I saw a girl sitting by herself, so I sat on the table next to her and flicked through the brochures. After a few minutes, I spoke to her. Hi. Quick question. I'm booking my parents a holiday as a gift for their anniversary. Can you recommend anywhere nice? Money is no object. I have to book within a few hours and I'm struggling. The girl's face went blank at first. I think she was a bit shocked a stranger was speaking to her. But then after a few moments, I got what I wanted. A big grin spread across her face. I went to Florida in the United States last year. It was amazing. Such a beautiful place. I ended up chatting to the girl for about 5 minutes about her trip to Florida. She was smiling and laughing and telling me about her trip. I didn't say much. Probably because I was stunned it had worked. After a few minutes, I thanked her and left. I walked round the corner and punched the air. I had got the reaction I had hoped for. And here's why. By asking the girl if she could recommend anywhere nice on holiday, her brain didn't have enough time to stop and think, why is this guy trying to speak to me? Instead, my words triggered her brain to zip through her memory to find her previous holiday experiences where she had a great time. It took milliseconds for her brain to find one. Because she was remembering something pleasurable, she felt good. I had made her feel good with one simple question. The blank look was her brain kicking into action, and then a big smile as she remembered Florida. Now, this is very, very important when it comes to seduction. Listen to this. From a young age, all children, especially women, are conditioned to not speak to strangers. This is one of the reasons it is so hard to start a conversation with a woman. As soon as you try to start a conversation with a woman you don't know, her defense goes up unconsciously. This is also because she will have been approached over and over again by men who use cheesy lines or are clearly just after sex. So, she is conditioned to reject a man instantly, unless she is physically attracted to him. Which is no good for guys like me who don't have movie star looks. However, by asking her a question that makes her feel good virtually straight away, you are stopping this conditioned response before it has time to occur. She hears your question and within seconds, feels good. This means she will be open to speak to you. I call this emotional hijacking. And it is phase 1 of my seduction system. Here's another conversation starter I used. Feel free to use it yourself. I'd approach a woman and say, "Excuse me. I need some womanly advice. My sister has just given birth and wants me to help name the baby. I'm so excited about the chance to name my beautiful niece, but I've hit a blank. Any ideas?" Man, wait until you try this one. You'll see the faces of any women around you light up. Anything baby-related works amazingly well with the ladies, because it triggers the internal mother in them that has been built into women's minds since the caveman days. Not only does this conversation starter trigger happy feelings and excitement, it also shows you are a caring uncle thanks to the words, "My beautiful niece." You'll get an "ah, how cute" response from the ladies. If you really want to make this one powerful, take a picture of a friend's baby, or get one from the net, and use it on your mobile phone. Show them a picture telling them this is your niece. Isn't she gorgeous? Trust me guys, a man who loves babies sets off all sorts of crazy connections and desires within a woman. And just in case you're wondering, I don't have a niece. Can you see how genius this is? One of the reasons men are scared to approach a woman and speak to her is because of the uncertainty of how she will react. By asking her a question in this way, there is no chance of her rejecting you. I have dozens and dozens of these rejection-proof conversation starters, and could talk about these for hours. But that's not the point. The point is my theory had worked. If I can tap into things that already make a woman feel good, I can make her feel good within seconds of speaking to her. And if I can do that, I have a chance to build upon it. Now, I must admit they didn't all work. As well as the lectures and papers I was reading online, I also started to read seduction books by self-proclaimed pick-up artists. At the time, I thought they were great. Now I know they were written by children, for children. One of their techniques is to compliment a girl to start a conversation. So, you might say something like, "Hi, I'm Thomas. That dress is beautiful." Wrong. I tried this and the girl made me feel tiny and humiliated. It was like school all over again. Let me tell you something. When a guy compliments a girl straight away, or even within a few minutes of speaking to her, her defense goes up. It becomes obvious the guy just wants sex. And whilst women want that too, they like to be romanced first. What we do is approach a woman with one of my rejection-proof conversation starters that makes her feel warm inside instantly, due to her past experiences in life. You tap into the good stuff that is already in her brain. This way, when you start a conversation, she'll look at you and get a warm feeling, and you made her feel that way. Even if she thinks you are damn ugly, she'll still connect her feeling good with you. If you start a conversation with a woman in this way, will she want to sleep with you? Of course not. This is just laying the foundation. This is getting past her defenses so she is open to speak to you. This is the real world, not a fantasy game. If you want to seduce beautiful women, it takes more than a simple question. Thankfully, it doesn't take much more. Back to my research. Over a couple of weeks, I tested out these conversation starters over and over again. I tested them in bars, clubs, shopping malls, coffee shops, you name it, I tested one there. And I didn't get rejected once. Want to know why? Because women cannot reject you when you start a conversation in this way. Women can only reject you if they think you are trying to seduce them. But when you start a conversation in this way, you come in under the radar. You don't set off any of her preconditioned defenses against strange men trying to take advantage of her. Sure, a woman might say, "Sorry, I'm really busy at the moment," or "I haven't got the time to chat right now." But that's okay. It's not a rejection. You simply say, "Okay, no problem. Have a nice day," and smile at her. In my experience, I'd say 97% of women will speak to you. Your conversation starter makes them feel good, remember. And those that don't, when you smile and say, "Have a nice day," often end up stopping and speaking to you anyway, because you come across as a sweet guy and not a sexual predator. So, after a few weeks of proving these conversation starters do work, I decided to research the next level. Building attraction to the point she wants to take you home and do things you usually only see in porn films. I read all kinds of textbooks on many different topics. From neurolinguistic programming to persuasion and even weird things like conversational hypnosis. Some of the tricks I found were nothing short of mind-blowing. For example, on page 174 of his book 59 Seconds, Professor Richard Wiseman says this: to help promote the chances of a successful date, choose an activity that is likely to get the heart racing. Avoid slow-moving, classical music concerts, country walks and wind chimes. Instead, look toward suspense-filled films, theme parks, and cycle rides. Your date will attribute their racing heart to you, rather than the activity, convincing themselves you have that special something. Clever, hey? Get a woman's heart racing and she will attribute it to you. And when a woman's heart races when it comes to a guy, it is connected to desire. This is written in a book by a famous psychology author. It isn't a book on seduction, it is about the human mind. I read so many books and listen to so many lectures, I would pick up a tip here, a trick there, a strategy somewhere else. Soon I had weapons of mass seduction that, if the expert therapists, professors and psychologists were right, could be used to sleep with the women I so wanted. It was time to put this to the test. Once again, I started small. It was a Thursday evening. I went to a bar after work with my colleagues. I had decided that I was going to test my theory that evening on an ugly girl. Because, if it doesn't work on an ugly girl, how would it work on the stunning blondes I planned on seducing very soon? Side note, I now know it's easier to sleep with beautiful women because no one else has the balls to approach them for fear of getting rejected. This means hot women often have low self-esteem. I'll teach you how to take advantage of that by getting them to connect you to them feeling great. Anyway, there I am at the bar and I spot an ugly girl who fits my criteria. I use a conversation starter. I get her heart racing. I get her to tell me stories about when she felt confident. Then ask her questions about what turns her on. I started using all these tricks I had learned. And 3 hours later, I was inside her in an alley behind the bar. Not the most romantic way to lose my virginity, but I was on top of the world. As she pulled up her panties, she said the words that nearly got me hard. Again. You're not usually my type and I never do one-night stands. You are obviously special, she said with a grin. Not really, I thought. I just know some voodoo mind shit. This was the beginning of a sex life that all my friends envy. My work colleagues mocked me for sleeping with the ugly girl that night. But a few weeks later when I slept with the stunning barmaid, they all tried and failed with, they couldn't believe it. Over and over again they watched as I left the bar or club with a hot girl and they'd be left sipping their drinks and going home to their right hand. The thing they struggle with is they are all better looking than me. One is a bodybuilder, one drives a flash car his daddy bought him. Another has a massive dick, apparently, yet I'm the one who gets all the girls. And I do it without ever having to risk rejection or use silly pick-up artist techniques. I do it by using a 4-step seduction system which makes women connect you, on an unconscious, emotional level, with excitement, pleasure and orgasms. I call this the subliminal seduction system. It's been years since my fateful meeting with my therapist that set me off on my journey. Years since I started my research into the field of using psychotherapy to seduce women. Years of having sex and being sucked by some of the hottest chicks around. And now, my friend, I want to teach it to you. You see, I know your pain. I know what it's like to see a beautiful woman, be desperate to have her ride you to orgasm, but no, you don't stand a chance. I know what it's like to have low self-confidence and be depressed that life is passing you by. I know what it feels like to be short, fat, ugly, and broke and hate the way you look. But I also know what it's like to have sex with a porn star from behind because you rewired her to associate you with pleasure she wasn't getting from guys with much bigger dicks than yours. And I know what it's like to live a life so exciting that every time you go out, you know you're going to have fun and a story to tell your buddies the next morning, as they listen to you wishing they could live one day like you live every day. Yep, I know all this. And that's why it's time I changed your life for the better. For the past 6 months, I have been writing down my subliminal seduction system. This is the world's only seduction guide that covers the topic of getting women to quickly associate you with positive feelings such as confidence, pleasure, excitement, exhilaration, all the good stuff women are desperate to feel. Whilst other courses out there teach shitty lines and how to dress like an idiot to get attention, this course is based on techniques that have been proven in experiments by professionals in mind research universities and labs across the world. We're not talking bullshit theory written by a desperate teen here, like other seduction courses. We're talking scientific research, baby. So, what I have done is write down my research, experiments, case studies, links to the books and lectures and websites that prove my research is valid, and then put everything into a step-by-step how to seduce and have sex with beautiful women training course. This system will work no matter what you look like. No matter how ugly, fat, hairy or lonely you are, I can help you get laid. Because unlike other courses, this is not about you. It is about her and her emotions. Let me illustrate what I mean. Other seduction experts teach something called ANEG. This is where you say something intended to humiliate the girl you want to sleep with. The idea is you show her that you are not that bothered about her, and this makes her want you. Now think about this for a second. You want to seduce a girl, so you make her feel bad. Absolute morons. If you buy into that kind of crap, you are not worthy of learning my system. Seriously, how stupid can you be? Seduction is about making a woman feel good, not bad. It is about her, not you. And this is why it does not matter what you look like. Women are not stimulated by visual appearance. That's not what turns her on. It's how you make her feel that turns her on. Want proof? How many women's porn magazines do you see? Hardly any. How many men's porn magazines do you see? They're in shops everywhere. Women are not excited by what they see, they are excited by the emotions they feel. Want more proof? Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you'll have heard of the book 50 Shades of Grey. It is a worldwide phenomenon that is getting women everywhere wet. It is basically a written porn book for women. And it's sold faster than nearly every book in history. Why? Because the descriptions in the book emotionally stimulate women. There's no pictures, just descriptions of the sex that women crave. That book has sold tens of millions of copies around the world, which proves two things. Firstly, that women are turned on emotionally, not visually. Words make them feel emotions like desire and pleasure. Secondly, it proves that women aren't getting the sex they want. If they were, they wouldn't need to buy a book to get their kicks. It's the same as guys watching porn because they can't sleep with the women they want. I could give you huge amounts of proof, case studies, and links to experiments. But I have gone on for long enough and, quite frankly, a lot of it is boring. All you want to know is how can you use this stuff for your own pleasure, right? You've probably imagined a beautiful model who is looking you in the eye as she pleasures you deeply with her wet mouth. You can picture it, but how do you make it happen? That's what you want to know. You can make it happen by learning my system. It's that simple. Look, you can try and figure all this stuff out yourself. You can try and find the underground websites I did that contain the lectures and reports and books on the topic of conditioning someone to feel a certain way. Sure, you can try to do that. But it will take you years and you'll probably fail. The sites and lectures are kept secret for a reason. To stop people from using the findings for unethical means, such as seducing women. Thankfully, I'm a whiz on the internet and found them after a lot of searching. Even if you did find some of the lectures, you could spend another year working your way through all the written documents and listening to the hundreds of hours of audio I did. This is time you could be spending sleeping with as many women as you want. So the question is this. Do you 1. Want to continue life the way you are, missing out on experiences in life, like getting sucked by models and sleeping with the hottest women in your town? 2. Do you want to spend a year or more locked away in your bedroom trying to find the same research studies I did and then humiliate yourself by testing theories that don't work? 3. Or, do you want the quick fix? Something where you can spend a few hours and have all the information you need to live the sex life you truly deserve? Unless you're brain dead, you'll go with option 3. In which case, let me tell you more about my new course, which you can be downloading and reading in seconds. As I have said, I have spent years of my life figuring out how to get beautiful women to connect me with positive emotions and pleasure. It took years of research, and then years of testing and perfecting, for me to come up with the seduction shortcut I can teach you today. Inside of the subliminal system, you will learn how to develop the self-confidence of a movie star using NLP techniques and other tactics that would cost you hundreds to learn from a therapist. You'll never feel nervous around a woman again. Why beautiful women are the easiest girls to sleep with. Most guys are too intimidated to approach the models, movie stars, and local stunners. Let them deal with the ugly or average girls, and learn how to seduce the 10 out of 10 girls. A sneaky trick that has women looking at your face whilst they speak about the best sex they've ever had. Within minutes, she will be desperate to be bent over by you and won't know why. Proof that you can get people to associate something positive and pleasurable with anything. Hint: advertisers use this all the time. How to destroy the worry of what people think of you within a few weeks using a strange trick that involves Tom Cruise. Body language tricks that trigger years of evolutionary desires in females and make them desperate to speak to you. Why a caveman would have more chance of seducing beautiful women than you, even though he's ugly, hairy, and smells. The one single element all women look for in a guy, and how to ensure you give off this vibe with 3 magic words. The 4 unconscious needs every woman has, and 3 questions to ask her that will show her you can provide all of them. The 6 things she will do with her body that will tell you she wants to sleep with you. Walk into a bar, look for these and approach the girl who shows 3 of these signals. You are guaranteed sex. Mind-reading secrets that will tell you exactly when she wants you to kiss her and take her somewhere to get down and dirty. A blueprint for making any woman fall in love with you within a few weeks. Want to settle down with a hot girl rather than just sleep with lots of different women? This section of the course is for you. How to make guys think you are the coolest guy on the planet and the best friend everyone wants. Secrets that will help you to tap into her past and make her feel as though she has known you, and wanted to sleep with you forever. Exercises to help you become the funniest guy in every room. Funny guys always get laid because they make women feel good emotions when they laugh. Here's how to laugh your way into her bedroom. Eye contact techniques that show women you are in charge of the situation and are a strong male, even if you are not. Cognitive behavioral therapy techniques you can use to see through the social bullshit that makes you think it's hard to approach and seduce models, celebrities, and porn stars, and shows you how easy it really is. The 7-step formula for getting women in bars to come to you. Walk in a bar, sit down, and put this formula in place. You'll be able to take your pick from the conveyor belt of beauty that approaches you. How to use stories to exhibit the qualities that make her want To ride you all night long without you having to actually say it. What not to say to a woman if you ever want to get her attracted to you in any way. Say any of these common sex killers, and you're destined to struggle with women for the rest of your life. Location-specific scenario training where you will learn what to say in locations such as a cafe, a bar, a nightclub, and more. Use the wrong technique in the wrong place and you'll end up looking like a needy pervert. The only technique you'll ever need to ensure you get a girl's number every time without any chance of rejection. A secret strategy to have a girl begging you to tie her up and use every one of her holes for pleasure. Hint, we have the book 50 Shades of Grey to thank for this one. Links to the research papers, lectures, and books that I studied in order to develop this master class in seduction. There's tens of thousands of pages and hundreds of hours of audio to listen to. There's no need to study it. I have put everything you need in the course, but if you wish to, the links are there for you to check out. The 4 types of women, and how to pinpoint the type of woman to approach depending on if you want a one-night stand, a relationship, a friend, or an enemy. And much, much more. In short, this downloadable course is an AZ blueprint in how to seduce women that you, and every other guy on this planet, dream about having sex with. Now, I know how excited you are about the potential in this. Only a dead guy, or a guy who likes men, wouldn't be interested in how to sleep with the most beautiful women in his town. So, I know you want to get your hands on this course. But before I tell you how much it costs, and about my guarantee that it will work for you, I want to ask you a question. What would it be worth to you to be able to sleep with as many women as you want, no matter what you look like or how much money you have or anything like that? What would it mean to you to be able to walk into a bar and have all the guys turn and stare at the woman you are with? The woman you are getting sucked by every night. And know that she only has eyes for you? What would it mean to you to have a stunning girl fall head over heels in love with you and tell you she loves you as she has a shuddering orgasm on your manhood? What's it worth to have the unlimited respect and admiration from your male friends and buddies who are envious of your sex life and skills with women? You probably can't put a price on those things in life. They're priceless. Because it is these kinds of experiences that make life worth living. If you are like most red-blooded males, you would be willing to pay thousands for this system. That's how much I was offered by guys in bars who asked me what my secret was. That's also how much other seduction experts charge for their services. Not me, though. You see, I haven't forgotten what it was like to be bullied at school. To be low in self-confidence. A virgin. To feel like I was missing out on life and it was passing me by. I know how painful it can be to want a girl and not be able to get her. That's why I refused to charge thousands for this, even when big publishing companies told me to. That's why I won't even charge hundreds. You can gain immediate access to the complete subliminal seduction system for just a small one-time payment. That's it. No catch. No clause. No hidden payments. How much? Click the link below, but I assure you it's less than the price of a cup of coffee a day for the next month. Am I crazy? No. As I said at the start of this video, I want revenge. You see, during my research I ended up buying a lot of seduction gurus' books and even seminars and workshops. At the time, I thought they were great and thought I was learning a lot. Now though, I know I was only learning to fail. So the reason I am offering the best course on the market, for hundreds less than most experts sell courses for, is because I want revenge on the bastards who are ripping people off left, right, and center. The scumbags who are taking guys' money and making them feel bad rather than powerful. It's time I leveled the playing field. My course is cheaper, better, and more comprehensive than the rubbish they are selling. So, my revenge is destroying their business. That's my goal with this. To help you get laid and destroy the business of those that ripped me off. And that's why I also offer a guarantee better than theirs. Click the order button below, sign up, and you will gain instant access to the training. Everything you need you will access in just minutes from now. If, at any time within the next 60 days, you are not completely happy with your purchase, simply email the address below and request a refund and my support team will process it for you, no questions asked. That's how confident I am that you will love this program. Now let's be realistic. Would I be offering this unless I knew, beyond all shadow of a doubt, that this program will transform your life? Probably not. I'd do what most other seduction gurus do and claim my secrets were too valuable to have people sign up and get a refund. Bullshit. They don't offer a refund because their courses are crap. Mine will change your life. That's why I can offer such a guarantee. All you need to do is click the order button below, fill in your details, and you'll gain instant access to the course. No details will show up on your card statement that reveal what this course is, so don't worry about that. Everything is private and confidential. You will be going through the course in seconds and your trial period will begin. Whilst I can't make up your mind for you, I do want to warn you of something. As you have seen, this website is a bit controversial. The subject matter of rewiring a woman's brain so she connects you with positive emotions and powerful orgasms could be seen as unethical. So this presentation and course will probably not remain online for long. If you put off buying this today and come back tomorrow, it could be gone. The only thing I am certain of is every day you are not using this system, you are missing out on opportunities that would make your life more exciting, sexually fulfilling, and enjoyable. What guy wouldn't want that? I know this can transform your life. So let me make this deal even more irresistible. When you sign up within the next 24 hours you will get these bonuses. Bonus 1, Embedded Influence. Remember the first conversation starter I gave you? Here it is again to refresh your memory. Hi. Quick question. I'm booking my parents a holiday for their anniversary. Can you recommend anywhere nice? Money is no object. I have to book within a few hours and I'm struggling. Inside of that question are two embedded thoughts. An embedded thought is a principle taken from hypnotists which tells the subconscious what to think. I'm booking my parents a holiday for their anniversary tells the woman's subconscious, this is a caring guy. Money is no object tells the woman's subconscious, this guy has money. Doesn't matter if you don't. You can break that news after you've slept with her. It was her that jumped to that conclusion after all, she just won't know where she got the idea that you were rich in the first place. Embedded thoughts are master level seduction. I will provide you with a report that contains questions and lines to say that automatically make her brain jump to conclusions that she wants to sleep with you. You'll only get this report if you sign up today, though. Here's another bonus for you. Bonus 2, Seduction Signals. When it comes to seduction, body language is vital. In my research, I found case studies that showed 93% of communication is nonverbal. In other words, body language is more important than anything else. And according to research by famous male/female interaction expert Timothy Berber, 96.7% of men do not recognize when a woman is giving off signals that she wants to be approached and seduced by someone. Lyle Lones, another famous romance expert and author, says that by law of averages, unless you have bad breath and a bad attitude, 3 or 4 women in every situation you find yourself in probably have their eyes on you. What's scary about this is you could be in a bar, club, shopping mall, anywhere there is women, and you could be missing signals from girls who want to have sex with you. On top of that, if you approach a woman and start a conversation with the wrong body language, you don't stand a chance. In other words, when it comes to sleeping with hot women, you need to understand body language. If you don't, you are destined to fail. This bonus will teach you the body language you need to know to make you look confident and in control. It will also show you how to spot her body language signals, such as when a woman wants you to approach her and when she wants you to take her into an alley and unzip your trousers. If you sign up within the next 24 hours, you'll get these 2 bonuses. Combined with the core course, you will have everything you need to turn you into a guy who will live a life of true excitement and sexual fulfillment. All that's left to do now is for you to hit the order button below. You have reached a fork in the road of your life. You can go one way, which is to just keep doing what you've been doing. If you ignore what I say, you'll just keep getting what you've already got. And if you've watched this far into the video, I'm pretty sure you're not sleeping with as many women as you want to. The second path you can take is to take my course for a 60-day test drive. Remember, I offer a rock-solid guarantee. I am shouldering all of the risk, not you. Which means if you try this and find it doesn't work, you get your money back. And then you can go down the other path of doing what you've already been doing anyway. This is a win-win situation for you, my friend. But only if you take action. Click the order button below and I'll see you in the download area in the next few minutes.